Bankers Petroleum is an oil company based in Calgary? Sorry.
In Calgary.
Calgary. Bankers Petroleum is a company based in Calgary. It's listed in Toronto and also here in London, but it's got its operations in Albania and it's concerned with heavy oil. Let's get some more details now with the CEO and President, Abi Badwi. Abi, good to talk to you.
Nice meeting you.
First of all, let's get an update on just precisely what it is you've got. As I said, you're in Albania and it's heavy oil, isn't it? That's
correct,
right?
Correct. Well, the Patras Marinza oil field is the largest onshore oil field in Europe. We have 7 billion barrels of oil in place.
7 billion?
Billion barrels of oil in place. Currently, we have about 256 million barrels of 2P reserves, recoverable reserves. We have contingent resources of about 1 billion barrels. These contingent resources will be converted sometime into reserves as we prove some of our pilot work that we're doing with secondary and tertiary recovery. So the field has produced already in excess of 140 million barrels. We still produce about 16,000 barrels per day right now. We've been growing our production by about 20-25% per annum. As your production grows, that rate of growth will slow down to maybe 10-15% per annum. Reserves have been growing year over year. We've grown reserves by about 20% year over year. So in general, it's been giving back.
What about the oil itself, though? How heavy is it and how easy is it to get out of the ground?
Sure. So the oil is heavy. It's about 10-degree API oil. Fortunately, it is a little bit deeper, so it's hotter and higher pressure. And it comes out as an emulsion with water and grass, and that's what makes it flowable. It is flowing heavy oil. We do use progressive cavity pumps, PCP pumps or screw pumps to extract the oil with, and that's what we have done different in the field. The field has been developed with primary methods from the 50s and 60s by Russians and Chinese. And since we got our contract back in 2004, we've been converting a lot of these oil from insert beam pumps to progressive parity pumps, and that's what has improved productivity. But we're also developing the field now with new horizontal wells.
Right. Do you separate out everything that comes up on site, or does it go away and...
So everything comes out. We do a separation. We have a processing facility to separate the oil from the water, and then the clean oil is then sent to market. Domestic markets we're only selling 20-25% of our product, but the bulk is going to the export market into the Mediterranean region.
What percentage of Brent are you getting?
We're getting 80% of Brent. Right. There's been great demand for our type of crude. We're selling it to the likes of Eni in Italy, Repsol in Spain. Vitol is selling our oil to many places around the world, including India.
What's Albania like to work in? The fiscal regime, for example, what do they allow you to do and what do they take from your output?
Yeah, it's a very attractive system in the sense that during your high investment period, the early years of developing the field, we're getting 100% cost recovery. So we recover all of our costs subject to a royalty, which is anywhere between 10 and 17% of royalty. Once you recover all of your capital, then you are able to pay taxes to the government. That's on profits only, and that rate is 50%.
You're talking about possibly expanding production. Do you have the market to expand into? Is the demand there for this sort of oil?
Yeah, the demand has been very high in the last several years, and demand from big refineries in the Mediterranean region has been increasing, and hence we have improved on the value we're getting for our oil. So as the demand increases, we're getting better pricing for the oil, and we moved from about 55% of Brent to the current 80% of Brent. And the market is there. I think we're planning on growing our production, or at least forecasting to grow our production to about 30,000 barrels over the next 4 or 5 years from primary methods. But as we also develop secondary recovery and tertiary recovery methods, we can double again those numbers. Right. We need some time to develop this, but I think the markets are there.
What sort of support have you got from the balance sheet? Is the balance sheet healthy enough to do what you're doing, or are you going to have to come back to the market?
No, we're self-funding. Our current cash flow is close to $200 million for this year. Our capital is close to $200 million, so we're self-funding. As we go forward and production increases and these oil prices at $100 Brent, we are going to have excess capital that we can contemplate a dividend-paying model 2-3 years from now.
Right,
but
right.
as we are developing the field, we'd rather use over our capital.
Well, that's
to
an interesting
invest.
point, actually, because I was going to ask about shareholder value and how you return value to shareholders. So a dividend is on the horizon.
It is on the horizon. It's a bit early, as I said. We have provided very good return to our investors. Early investors in the story paid 50 cents a share for our stock.
Right.
We are undervalued right now. We've seen a high of $9. But with current capital market...
I mean, you would say undervalued. I mean, everybody's going to say undervalued,
sure.
but...
Well, it's based on metric, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, our net asset value is at $8. On a cash flow multiple, we're at 3 times cash flow multiple. Reserves in the ground are valued currently at less than $5 a barrel, so you cannot
there's
buy
a big margin.
it. That's why we say that. So.
Of course, no, absolutely. One final question. What are you doing now? I mean, what milestones should we watch out for? What's 2013 looking like for you?
So we have a large capital program, about $230 to $140 million. We're planning on drilling more than 100 horizontal wells in the field. Right. We're starting our water flood program and a polymer flood program. So really proving of our pilot work in secondary and tertiary is going to be a big point. The ability to continue to grow production by 10-15%. And we're also looking at really opportunity to find natural gas. We're drilling for natural gas in the country. We have a large exploration block. And if we can secure some gas reserves, it will enhance our ability for steam generation and power generation.
Good. Well, good luck with all that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate
It's been a pleasure talking to you. Abi Badawi, there is President and CEO of Bankers Petroleum.